Hi my dear friends, welcome to Taslima Maya Art, and I hope you're doing well today. This video is an exciting contribution to the wonderful ColourArte Carnival of Colours educational spring event, and this is day one, which started with our founder Leslie Onstad. You would have seen some amazing artistic creations up before me, and you'll find a full playlist down below in my description box, so do go check that out. Up before me was the talented Lunar Sky, and up after me will be the wonderful Arisa Rue art. So as usual, you have the amazing opportunity to win a $400 shopping spree with ColourArte if you watch all of the artist videos in the playlists, and also subscribe to the channels of each of these artists and leave a comment and a like, engage in the live premieres if you're able to, and then each channel will reveal a secret word or two. Collect all the clues to reveal a secret phrase, and then submit your guess of the secret phrase to the ColourArte website by the 17th of May. And you can also win one of 15 individual channel prizes of $50 worth of paints. Just leave a comment in each video. Winners will be announced on the 20th of May on the ColourArte website. So the best of luck to you guys, I hope you win. My contribution to the Spring Carnival of Colours is a vibrant mixed media artwork of a koi, or more specifically nishkagoi fish, in a pool of serene water amongst floating lily pads and flowers. I did a silicone swipe pour with ColourArte products to create my watery backdrop, and then used a koi stencil, vivid intense fluorescence for my fish body, texture outlines for my flowers and lily pads, and then poured paint as well as resin into these for this vibrant carnival of colours outcome. I really hope you like it as much as I do. So without much further ado, let's go and see how this was created. Part 1. Canvas prepping, paint mixing and swipe pour backdrop. So the first thing I had to do was pick my colours for the watery background, and I picked a couple of different pigments from ColourArte, and I'll put them all in my description box below for you to see. I decided I'd use my 3D printed koi fish template from Pour Away Fluid Arts, and I started prepping my Arteza oval canvas, which was 40cm diameter. I taped the back up. For my seascape, I started mixing my primary element pigments. I have Chrysocolor, Starlight Blue, Peacock Feather, Oasis, and then I added some Vivid Intense fluorescence too. I mixed DecoArt Pearl and Pebbio Iridescent Green Blue and Green Yellow too. I dispersed my pigments in Vallejo gloss varnish and then added vivid enamel to it as my untinted base. Is there anything more satisfying than mixing up your own paint from these gorgeous ColourArte pigments? I'm just showing you how I do that. If you're a complete beginner at this, I'm dispersing it there in my varnish, and then I'll add my vivid enamel to that as well. I'm eyeballing it at this point, but there is a longer mixing video on my channel if you're interested. You can see it's almost done. So I let that sit and I mix up the rest of the colours in exactly the same way. Gorgeous. So I did throw in some extra colours, but I've got here Blinkit Oasis, beautiful colour, and an Amsterdam Manganese Blue Phthalo. Then a beautiful baby blue, which is a DecoArt Sky Blue Topaz. And then I've got Primary Elements Chrysocolor, as I showed you before, and then that's Primary Elements Starlight Blue. And then we've got DecoArt Aquamarine. And then finally I have Titanium White, which is mixed slightly thinner. Once mixed up, I got my oval canvas elevated and I poured in 3 droplets of treadmill oil, this is from Simpo, into my white, and then stirred that up. And then for my swipe pour, my little girls who are 5 and 3 joined in. This colour? Okay, watch me. Yes. Now, Sarah, this one.
Wait, so what do we do? Do this?
Yes, but not too fast. There's a bony close. Now your turn, I'll let go. That's very good. Let me have a go. can do these two at the top because we haven't done those.
Let's try that one. Can you put a little bit of pink in it?
I'll put pink in the sea, what this is the sea.
I like pink. This one is
I'm gonna put pink. I'll put pink in another item.
This one, which one is it? Eel?
Everyone happy with the colours? Which one did you want, Sarah?
That one.
This one.
Fancy one.
Once the girls and I were done with layering the paints, I then took my swipe colour, my titanium white, which had silicone added to it, and I placed it across the top, and I used a piece of craft plastic to swipe that over the rest of my colours, and immediately you can see those little cells pop up from the silicone oil. And to avoid wasting any paint, I use the craft plastic and the paint left on it to make sure the sides are covered, and then I begin to tilt my canvas out because I don't want too much paint left on the surface of my canvas. All the paint that falls down is actually collected up and reused as a flow extender, so nothing gets wasted. Now this is sped up by 10, so this was done very slowly. And once I'd stretched that out right over the edge and covered the edges properly, I simply got a torch and torched it to create those beautiful cells. Now in a moment you'll see a lot of lacing come up, which is really, really pretty. I absolutely loved this. But I think my paint consistency might have been slightly off because by the next day when it dried, I did lose some of this. It still looked pretty spectacular, but not as good as it's looking there. This looked beautiful. I think the white needed to be slightly more thicker rather than thinner. But again, it does look like an underwater scene. It looks beautiful. You can see a lot of different types and hues of blue there, the turquoise as well and the darker blues, so it looks gorgeous with those pigments. And the camera can't quite pick up the shimmer in it as well, so whilst it's still semi-wet, I decided to drop in my fish template, my koi fish template, right in the middle. And again, this is from Pour Away Fluid Arts. And what happened was I didn't need to use any glue for this, so it just dried right into that paint and sealed. I did notice a slight gap by its nose, but I sealed that up with some gloss medium because ultimately I want it to be watertight when I pour in paints into the koi fish. All there was left to do now was let it dry overnight and then clean off some of that oil residue in the days following. On to the next stage. In step 2 you will see me underpainting the koi and pouring in fluid fluorescent paint. I wanted vibrant carnival colours, so I used vivid intense fluorescence and a pearl black and a pearl white to paint my koi fish. But before I did that, I needed to do some underpainting to make sure those colours would stand out against that darker background, and I'm just painting it with some titanium white there and a paintbrush, which didn't take very long at all. I simply mixed them with a couple of drops of water and some vivid enamel as my pouring medium. The consistency needed to be thin so I could use a pipette to drop in the colours into each of those compartments. The koi, or more specifically the nishikigoi fish, is a direct descendant of the hardy carp species. It originates from Eastern Asia. In Japanese and Chinese culture, they have become a symbol of good luck and health due to how robust they are and how long they live. They are freshwater fish that come in a variety of colours, not just orange, and can grow up to 3 feet long and outlive the owner if raised in optimal conditions. Many domesticated koi live around 30 to 40 years. The legendary Hanoko was a koi that was documented as having lived for 226 years in Japan. They are extremely intellectual and can be trained to eat out of your hand or even your mouth. Did you know that there are more than 100 varieties of koi fish, and the average koi weighs approximately 35 pounds or 15 kilograms? The most expensive koi cost $1.8 million in 2018. For this painting, I chose to do the Kohaku Sanka koi, a fish that has a white base of colour with red markings along with black markings too. The white colour is as pure as snow and contrasts with the deep red and black of the markings. For this I chose vivid intense yellow-orange, orange and yellow fluorescent colours, and later added some red to this because I wanted a vibrant red-orange colour true to life. In this particular fish, the black marking is differentiated as a sankei rather than just a kohaku. They may not show up until it's matured, so you may not even know that you have one until it's fully grown. So what you're seeing me do here is simply pouring in my colours into each of those little sections and then using a little cocktail stick or a dotting tool to try and guide it into all of the different areas. And because it's quite fluid, it's actually really easily done, and I love this part of this painting. It was really quite therapeutic and relaxing just to guide that paint along, that fluid paint, into each of those crevices there and get it to glide and mix together. And I can really see my koi fish taking shape. It's looking splendid. I love it. If you're enjoying this video, please do give me a like or a comment. I really love hearing from you and hearing your feedback and finding out what it is you enjoyed about the video or what suggestions you have. Also, my fellow wonderful ColourArte affiliates have put on such a great event with Leslie, so do check out all the other artists' channels and give the videos a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channels if you haven't seen them before. We really appreciate all the support you can give, as well as we love the fact that you have the ability to possibly win a prize if you enter the competition, and one of those prizes is a $400 spending spree on the ColourArte website. So do check out the description box below for all of the competition entry requirements. Now that's the end of step 2, let's get on to the next stage. In step 3, I'll guide you through how I created textured lotus flowers or water lilies and lily pads, and how I detailed the water. I used ink pens to put some details in, such as bubbles and water droplets, along with seaweed, and I could see it was really beginning to take shape. You could see the beautiful colours in the water. And then I drew out what I wanted, which was some lotus flowers and lily pads, with a pen, and went over it using dimensional paint pens similar to fabric paint, and these are called Perlen pens. I'll put a link in my description box below for you. And these create 3D outlines on the surface of my canvas. So I did the lily pads and the flowers using different colours, and then I poured paint into these. Although this looks like a time-consuming process, I actually really enjoy just being in the moment and losing myself in this and just seeing all the beauty I can create with my hands, and I'm very blessed and grateful to be able to do this and share it with you as well. I use more ColourArte pigments. They're absolutely beautiful and shimmery, and you can see me putting them into the lily pads there. I use 2 colours. I'll pop them down on the description box below, and I also use some more pearl colours for the lilies, and I add a little bit of pink and purple to those as well, because my daughter did ask for some pink in this painting when we were doing the sea. I use a pinky purple Posca pen just to add the final touches on the lilies, and use a brush to smudge that in to give it that kind of faded pinky pearlescent colour. So my friends, I hope you're enjoying it so far. Let's get on to the next stage. In step 4, I'll be adding bubbles, movement and seaweed, and adding sunlight streaming in. First I added some water disruption on the surface of the water using a black Posca and rubbing that out, and then I used masking tape to create the effect of sunlight breaking through the surface of the water, and I used watered down acrylic paint for that, just titanium white. I also rubbed off any excess using a wet wipe. I've never done something like this before, so it was really exciting to see that it actually worked, but I did study a lot of reference pictures for this. Here's an example. So I'm really loving how this is looking. I wonder what you think. Do let me know. I'm going to add the final step now, I promise. And that is step 5, pouring resin into the koi and water lilies. So my friends, for the final stage, I used Jade Diction epoxy resin, and that was 1:1 ratio. And I simply made sure that my canvas was level there, and I poured in 1 part of A and 1 part of B and mixed it together for 3 to 5 minutes. I then popped it into my resinous airless machine, which debubbled it within 9 minutes because there was a lot of bubbles after the mixing, and most of those bubbles rose to the surface and dissipated. And by the end I had crystal clear resin. I did spray a little bit of alcohol into it to pop the surface bubbles, but it was so effortless with this machine. I do have a discount code down below. Look at that. Just crystal clear. So folks, keep your eyes peeled. My secret words are coming up soon. Here I'm having fun pouring in my beautifully crystal clear resin into each of those sections and using my dotting tool just to guide it right in. It was so easy. And this cured within 4 hours at room temperature. I did put a box over it to stop anything from flying into it. So if you want to be in with the chance to enter the competition and win the grand prize of $400 spending spree with ColourArte, here are my secret words. Like a spring. That's like a spring. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down in my comment box below to be in with a chance of winning one of 15 different channel prizes worth $50 with ColourArte. You can also use my code Taslima523 on the ColourArte website for 10% off. So my friends, here is the final mixed media textured artwork that I created for this ColourArte Carnival of Colours spring event. I really hope you enjoyed watching up till now and you liked the finished piece. Let me know what you think. I used a combination of products from ColourArte, the Vivid Enamel, the Blingate pigments, the Primary Element pigments, as well as Vivid Intense Fluorescent High Flow Fluid Acrylics. I also used a 3D stencil, dimensional paint, poured paint into the lotus flowers, and many other techniques. So it's been a beautiful journey with you guys. Thank you so much for coming along with me on it. I did have one more idea, and I might actually do more with this piece. I wanted to use some clear gel gloss to create some fish scales, an idea a friend gave me. So watch this space for a second installation of finishing off this piece. I did run out of time, so this is where I've got to so far. And I absolutely love it. What do you think? That resin has created a glass-like finish. It really is beautifully reflective. It's gorgeous, the koi itself and the lotus flowers. Lotus flower is actually the emblem of my original country that I'm from, Bangladesh. So it's really poignant. And also my daughter, who is 3, Sarah, did actually want some pink in this painting. So I'm so happy this pleases her. And it's up for sale, so if anyone wants it, please just message me or email me on the email above. So that's my Kohaku Sankei koi fish done, and that's it from me this week. And I hope you join me in the live premieres of the other artists. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Up next is the talented Risuru Art.
Bye.